0. Chapter 18, Example 1. Your local newspaper polls a random sample of 330 voters, finding 144 who say they will vote yes on the upcoming school budget. Create a confidence interval for the actual sentiment of all voters. So we're going to start by checking our conditions because we're using the normal model for this. I have a random sample and 330 voters are less than 10% of all voters. Additionally, we had 144 yes votes and 156 no votes. Both at least 10. The conditions are satisfied. I will use the normal model for a 1 proportion z interval. So the conditions are checked. We have to do that first. Then we're going to write some statistics down, find our margin of error, then calculate the confidence interval. Finally, we'll write up a statement. So first find that percentage. 144 over 330 equals 0.4364. That's our probability of success. So the sample size is 330. We would expect 144 successes. That was actually given already, but I like showing us how we calculate that. N times p hat. And then N times Q. This is the amount of failures we'd expect. This is what we did for checking our conditions. Would equal 156. So we're going to find the standard error. And this is a standard error because it's from a sample. We don't think it's the true value, but it's from a sample, so we use error instead of standard deviation. So standard error of p hat will equal the square root of p hat from our sample success probability times q hat, our sample no probability, which is 0.5636. So 0.4364 times 0.5636 over our sample size of 330. And this equals 0.0273. That's our standard error. Similar to the standard deviation, but since it's from a sample, we call it a little differently because it's checking those, not our population. So the margin of error equals 1.96 times the standard error of p hat. That 1.96 is really 95%. It's not actually 2 standard deviations. 95% is actually 1.96. And so we get 1.96 times 0.0273, which is standard error we calculated. This equals 0.0535. Now we can calculate the 95% confidence interval. And this equals our probability of a yes vote, 0.4364, plus or minus that margin of error, because we're getting an interval or range. And this will give us 0.3829 and 0.4899. So now the big statement. I am 95% confident that between 38.3%, that's the lower bound on our confidence interval, and 49.0%, the upper bound on our confidence interval, of voters will vote yes on the upcoming school budget.